Hello and welcome to another Cheeky Scientist blog highlight video. This week's blog focuses on top 3 business career tracks for PhDs. And what we're specifically looking at here are career tracks in business that were not normally where PhDs were thriving. It's not normally a career track where PhDs were being hired, were constantly being hired, but now they are. And those 3 career tracks are management consulting, business development, and entrepreneurship. Okay, we've also seen PhDs be hired into a lot of other positions, such as medical science liaison. Things have changed. It used to be that an MBA or even somebody else with a different type of terminal degree, like a MD, was hired into these roles. But now we're seeing PhDs being hired more and more into these roles. One of the reasons is because more and more PhDs are being produced. In the US, there's a 20% increase just from last year in the number of PhDs that have been granted. In other countries, it's as high as 40%. So there's a lot of PhDs, and these are a lot of highly trained people, very technically sound individuals in the job market. And so now these PhDs are starting to be hired, not just because there's more of them, but because they're seen as valuable in industry. Your ability to learn things quickly, after all, a PhD is simply a doctor of philosophy, which means knowledge and the ability to ascertain knowledge. So you're literally a doctor of learning. And because of this, companies want to hire you because they know you can learn on the job faster and better than anyone else. And they also know that as a PhD, a requirement of a PhD is to push a field forward, not merely master a field, which master's degrees and arguably MDs and even other terminal degrees are required to do. But as a PhD, you have to innovate. You have to push a field forward in order to get your PhD. This makes you very valuable. This is why management consulting firms now are hiring a lot of PhDs, not just MBAs anymore, not just MDs. Business development, companies need that innovation that you have, the innovation that's built into your degree and your training. So business development, helping businesses develop where to go next, right? Setting up strategic partnerships, strategic alliances. They're hiring PhDs into this sector frequently now. And then finally, entrepreneurship. It used to be to start a company, you would need at least one resident MBA on board to make that company successful. Now PhDs are getting together and starting their own companies, and certainly they're being hired by startups. And not just startups, but small companies. Now a startup can be 10 people in Silicon Valley, but a small company in business, small is anything from 100 to 1,000 employees. So not really that small. And we're seeing a lot of the top innovative companies hiring PhDs frequently. So these are some sectors you should start looking at. An honorable mention is medical science liaison. They used to hire MBAs, only MDs. Now they're hiring PhDs more than MDs for these roles. So take a look at this sector. Make sure you read through the blog article. There's a lot of interesting information that will help you get into these sectors. And until next week, remember your value as a PhD.